I'm a cheater. I plagiarized. I'm a manipulator that will do whatever it takes to get ahead. These are some of the things that have been said about me in the last couple of days, and it's been a wild last couple of days. And I'm sure you have many questions, and this video will be the answer to all of them. And the only thing I ask you as you watch this video, whether we haven't met before and you just want to see what I have to say, or maybe you've been watching me for a while and you're confused about what all of this is about, the only thing that I ask of you is to watch this entire video with an open mind and make a decision for yourself. And so just to quickly catch you up, a fellow study YouTuber known as Amy or Amy Wang made a video titled "Cheaters Shouldn't Win," in which she says I used our friendship and then manipulated it with the intention of stealing video ideas, and even after many chances I blatantly stole her video. And after watching that video that she made many times, what I gathered to be her main points, correct me if I'm wrong, were that I stole 2 entire videos, starting with the maths video in 2023 and the attention span video which I uploaded last month, word for word, including titles, thumbnails, intro points, quotes, and everything, as she talks about throughout her video and also demonstrated by the Instagram story that she posted. And the next main point of her argument is saying that I invaded her privacy and I abused our friendship, and since even after many chances she gave me and even giving me the benefit of the doubt, I betrayed that and I stole her video idea again. And before I start to address those main points, I have to start with this. As a video creator, if any of my viewers, which includes Amy, were led to feel a certain way after watching my videos, that responsibility fully falls upon me, the creator. No matter what my intention was for the video, if she felt that way, or if you guys felt a certain way after watching that video, that's all on me. And so for that, I sincerely apologize that I caused these sorts of feelings towards Amy or others. However, I'm here to set the record straight and provide evidence that she admitted or perhaps didn't know. And even though the overwhelming message and expectancy seemed to be for me to apologize and move on, with many readily advising me to do so since they'd be willing to accept that, that would be the easy way out, because in this situation, I felt wronged and that the whole story wasn't portrayed, even with some blatant lies in the whole mix. And so for the main thing she's talking about is that I'm the cheater, and the reason for that is because I stole and copied word for word her attention span video, which she filmed in the late of June, and I posted between 1 and 2 months ago. And so Amy responds in her video that she watched the first part of the video, and in her video she outlines the following points that have been copied word for word. Let me roll the clip.
I watched the first half of the video, and this is what I see. You're making me scared to post YouTube videos.
I was almost really scared to put that in.
Or watch this on 2x speed.
Or you put the video into 2x speed.
You really need this video more than anyone.
You need this video more than anyone else.
If you clicked on this video only kind of wanting to save your mind,
if you're just kind of wanting to fix your attention span,
then this is not for you.
This video isn't for you.
Once you understand to not blame everything on social media and to take accountability,
they blame social media. We need to take responsibility.
Between stimulus and response lies a space.
Between stimulus and a response, there is a space.
In that space lies our freedom and power to choose your response.
And in that space, how to choose your response.
In our response lies our growth and opportunity.
And in our response lies our growth.
You just turned what you learned into your own knowledge.
Turn what you learn into your own knowledge. And if you look at what she compiled and compare my video of the attention span I uploaded last month and the one that she uploaded 3 months ago, the similarities are undeniable and point towards plagiarism, since my video was posted after hers. But the thing that I told her when she confronted me, as you can see, this was the text message that she sent. You can see that my first response was this. And what I'm referring to here is that I posted a video on the 28th of July 2023. And this is the real source of the supposed copied intro. According to YouTube, only 10% of people who watch this video will watch to the end. That was 8 seconds. That's your average attention span. And that's quite ironic, considering that people who click off this video, a lot of people will have just clicked off my video, are people who needed this video the most. You need this video more than anyone else. No putting it on the background, no scrolling to the comments. And maybe you've already scrolled down in the comments right now, trying to comment fast or fast some of the comments. No looking at the sidebar recommended videos, or going on another tab. Or you put the video into 2x speed, or you're browsing the recommended videos on the side. And as you can see by the comparisons that I will have just made, I start off by saying only 10% of the viewers will watch to the end, emphasizing the downfall of the attention span. I then go on to say that these are the people that needed the video the most, which is also one of the things that I apparently copied word for word. Then I offer the viewer a challenge. No putting this tab on the background, no watching the sidebar videos, etc. No putting the video on 2x speed. Another one of the things that I supposedly copied from her. And so now if you compare her video to mine from a year ago, edit together the parts, you can see that this structure and this flow of the introduction is mine and one that I have already used before. The point is, I'm not making any claims here, but they are similar topics. This flow of video has been done before. My video from a year ago probably wasn't the first that utilized this very topic. There are going to be similarities, and that's only inevitable when you're making the same video topic about attention span. Since I made this video with the intention of it being a remake of one of my own videos, this goes to beg the question, which video really is the original? The context behind why I made that video was because I saw that I had been making very academically focused and school type videos for a while, and seeing the success of other attention span videos, and also considering the fact that I've posted 9 other videos about attention span in the past, I also decided to make another one, since as you can see and it's proven by my YouTube videos that I made, this is a topic that I'm passionate about and I've spoken about before. I decided to remake one of my own videos. And you might be thinking right now, okay, the intro points might have been from my video, but that doesn't go to prove like things such as the quote, which I supposedly copied, and also the whole video, because Amy states in her video that I copied the whole video, and I also did that in 2 cases, and I'll get onto the second case later. And so you might say the intro might be yours, but you still have the rest of the entire video. But I'm going to show you that all of the 7 points that I shared in that video are things that I have said before in my previous attention span videos, publicly, before she even ever posted her video. The first main point that I make in the video, and which is also the same as Amy's, is about the golden mindset, or just mindset in general. And it is within this first point where we both use the Viktor Frankl quote about stimulus and how you choose to respond to that. And so in response to her saying that I copied this entire point word for word, because Amy does say later in the video that I also copied her exact experiences, her exact things that she personally had gone through, and so that made her feel like I was living inside of her skin. But
So, he just do the same research or whatever, but come on, the word experience, I don't know. These are my thoughts, my ideas, my experiences, so it felt kind of creepy, almost like he was wearing my skin.
The thing is, I've mentioned this point countless times before, and long-term viewers will know I'd always talk about mindset. And you can see from this clip, I even talked about this exact mindset with regards to social media right here. Also true that not everyone who has these things has a bad attention span, right? Everyone has free access to all of these things, but then not everyone has felt the negative effects of it. Social media isn't inherently bad, right? It's meant to enhance our thoughts, it's meant to enhance our learning. And so actually, nothing good comes of it if you just blame something else without realizing that firstly, it shouldn't be this kind of anger and hatred towards social media. You should reframe this mindset into realizing that actually it's you that's the problem, and it's the way that you use social media that has caused this.
Understand to not blame everything on social media and to take accountability.
They blame social media. We need to take responsibility. Also, Amy didn't include the fact that I also, after mentioning the quote that she also used, I mentioned another quote straight after that and started explaining that. The second point I talk about in my video is that you should allocate a separate time to check your phone. And I've mentioned this in so many other of my previous videos, and here are just some of the examples. But what I would recommend is that separate your time between studying and playing, so that you are objectively going to have the same amount of time to go on TikTok or to your messages. But just don't do that while you study. Keep it separate, because if you just mix those 2 things together, your brain's going to take longer to settle down into the mode of studying, because if you constantly switch between YouTube and that, your brain doesn't know the difference between playtime and study time. I then promote Screen Zen, how I personally use it at the gym. And I know note that a lot of my personal experiences will come up, because I did not steal her video. The third point I make in the video is about progressively deloading and instead trying to read, watch podcasts, etc. And I've been saying this from the very start of my channel, as well as in that attention span video that I originally made a year ago, as you can see from these countless examples. And this term called progressive deloading gets thrown around a lot around the self-improvement community, but from what I've seen and what I've used, it really does work. So say you start at TikTok, and then there's YouTube, and then podcasts or longer videos, and then movies, and books, and I think that books are such a valuable tool for everyone, because not only do they increase your attention span, but you can learn so many valuable lessons. That is from TikTok, try watching YouTube videos instead, and then transition to Netflix, then movies and the books. It's not about cutting everything out, it's about making better choices. I'm not saying not to have fun, you sure that that's right. How can you stay focused when you watch 10 different video clips? And then I talk about my experiences in Korea, which is my own personal experience. And I don't expect many of you guys to actually have watched my full video, because from what she just showed in her video, it could seem that that is a blatant copy. But if you look at the full picture, alongside the things I have said before, in my opinion, the similarities become weaker and weaker. The fourth point I make in the video was about consuming to absorb and actively listen to things, and which is also a point that she makes in her video. But as you can see, I've made this point also before in multiple of my attention span videos in the past.
And contrary to belief, just by focusing on one thing, whatever it is, that's how you fix your attention span. So if you're going to watch a YouTube video, don't scroll into the comments, just full screen and stare at that whole YouTube video, whether it's 10 minutes or 30 minutes. Just watch that whole YouTube video.
So when you need to work, clear all distractions. No phone on your desk, no playing rap music at 100% volume, just solely work. Successful students understand the importance and have the ability to delay their gratifications.
Mini summaries and synthesizing is something that I've personally been doing for ages. My very YouTube scripts and the whole premise of my channel was around me going through like my journey as a student, trying to apply things I've learned in my own life, and then making videos about them. And I also use examples from my own comment section, and I've also even said this whole point about mini summarizing in this video here.
You can do this by explaining things in your own words, in terms that you will understand.
Also the premise behind every revision tool, making notes, mind maps, etc. Synthesizing your knowledge into your own point. It's a very general and universal point that Amy claims that I copied. And the last point I make in my attention span video before wrapping up is a point about being bored, which is also a point that I mentioned repeatedly before in my attention span videos, as you can see in these examples.
You're going to be bored. And normally when you're bored, the first instinct is just reach out on your phone and just burn a couple of hours. But when you reach out for your phone, there's going to be nothing there now. That's why I felt when I deleted social media in this video. Try letting yourself be bored, and only after then will your thoughts, the things you do, that will all come naturally, and everything will seem fun again.
And Amy also makes a point in her video, which I did not make, about being present, having good connections with friends, and why having a good attention span might be important to have presence when you're around them. But that point is originally a point that I made in this video, which was posted before hers.
Just be the prospect of in the future not being able to be present with their family and talk to their children. And this acts as your motivation to change. To find out what
Think of a sunset with a loved one. If you have a short attention span, you're not going to be able to make the most of that moment.
And again, just to clarify, I watched the first 2.5 minutes of her video, saw that it was the standard attention span intro and structure that I had used before, as evidenced by like the comparison. Notice she used a good quote, and hence included it in my video, since the very purpose of a quote is to reuse it, to like internalize it yourself and repeat it. But since this video only has 2,500 views and was at the very beginnings of my channel, I expect not many, if any, of my current audience, and definitely not Amy, to have seen this video, explaining why she might have thought that the format and style were ones that I copied off of her. Again, I'm not denying that I watched the start of her video. In the video that she made, she portrays this picture that I said to her that I did not watch her video at all, and that I somehow like came up with the exact same things. But if you look at the full context, she states that I copied the full video, and then I respond to that I didn't even watch her video, so I couldn't have copied it, which were meaning that I didn't watch her full video and copy it like she had implied. And note that the majority of the points that she used as her examples, which we can imply that she would have used those since they were the most glaringly obvious like comparisons, were points that I made in my video, which I posted a year prior. Even if I hadn't said these points all before, and I had not made any attention span videos before, when you make a video about attention span, the main points and flow are bound to be the same. This is inevitable. When you place her video against mine, and just those two, you're bound to see the similarities. But that's not the full picture, as it doesn't take into account my own previous videos, which all have identical tips to what I've already said. This video is a remake from my own videos, and the only thing that I did take from her video was the quotes, which in my personal opinion, quotes are made to be shared. No one owns quotes. Again, in the description, I will attach like the full conversation, since she didn't include the whole conversation when she confronted me. And the context does matter in this case, because as I said before, when I said I haven't actually watched your video, that was in response to her saying that everything was too similar. And I quote from her, one-off instances might be coincidental, but down to tips worded in the ways that are too similar. So she basically said I copied even all of her tips, the whole video. Even if I hadn't, these are very general points that are bound to come up when you're talking about this certain type of topic. There's a reason that this type of comments exist. Every study video will be around the point of practice questions, spaced repetition, and active recall. Coincidences like this will happen, and repetition is inevitable, especially when we make the videos based on the same topics. This is confirmation bias. If you place those two videos, just the two of them together, like Amy did in her video, they're gonna look similar. They're even gonna look like I copied her from word to word. But now with the introduction of my video from a year ago, as well as examples of me saying this beforehand, you can hopefully see that when you take this into like the whole picture, it's not like she claimed, and rather these are points that I took from my own video. And you can see that this supports my point that I did not watch her video to copy the entire thing. I was remaking another attention span video, which I was likely to do since I already have 9 other attention span videos I've made, with my own personal stories, might I add, with my own research points that I've already said before. I did not get these points from her, rather from my own videos, as I have already provided examples, and from my bank of all my previously scripted YouTube videos, which I do keep, as you can see. And at this point, you might be saying, that's all good, but the main reason that Amy called me out was because I was quote unquote a repeat offender. Amy says like she was willing to overlook this if this was the first time, and also the basis in which she asked the majority of her friends, and her friends replied, her creator friends replied, saying that if he did this again, it's likely this would have happened again. And if it were true, and I'll be honest, this is a convincing argument. If I had stolen a video before, it's likely that I would have done it again. I might even have stolen all the videos that I've posted. And she places a heavy emphasis on this, rightly so. Even in like her thumbnail, as you can see, her thumbnail says study YouTuber plagiarizes with in brackets underneath again. She also brings up the maths video and how that was the first instance of me copying 5 separate times in her video. And the story that's told in her video about he admitted to plagiarizing the maths video, so it's plausible to think that Steven, Jspark, would do it again. Makes sense. When me and Amy were talking about it on call, because we were having like a discussion and Amy brought that video up to her, I told her what had happened and she knows this to be true. The story about what happened was that there was a freelance copywriter who was offering his services of writing scripts. And what they do is they write a free sample for you as a way to pitch their services. Something similar to this. I'll try to find the exact email, and if I'm able to find that during the editing process, I'll put that on screen to further solidify my point. And so what happened was someone sent me a script saying it was for a maths video and that they had wrote it. It didn't seem like AI or like was really bad like the others, and so it seemed good, so I used it and I uploaded it. Without realizing that this was a video that already existed on YouTube, I wasn't able to consider this possibility. This was the time when I was like around like 10k, 20k subscribers. This was at the very start of when I was starting to like outsource like the different types of things. I was starting to like search for an editor. And so when this person offered me their services and also a free script, I didn't even consider the possibility that they might have stolen this from another YouTuber. And that is my bad. That is my fault. And that is something that I overlooked, and I apologize for that. And I told all of this to Amy, and she knows it, about the trial scriptwriter, which she is referring to when she says blaming the scriptwriter. She spins this narrative that I plagiarized her work. She caught me, and now I've been doing it again ever since. When she knows the story, she said it was okay, and even said in her video that it sounded reasonable.
In line with the attitude of wanting to be friends with everyone, stay on good terms, back in 2023, after the math video plagiarism, I talked with Steven and, he was pretty reasonable sounding, so I forgave him. Then after
This is, as I said, is what she is referring to when I quote unquote blamed the scriptwriter. I showed her what happened. She knows this to be false. And so it's beyond me why she's unintentionally or intentionally portraying it as if I had copied her videos before. And I'm not trying to brush this off and say this isn't my fault. At the end of the day, I did upload a video with my own accord that was a copy of her video. But since then, I've only ever uploaded videos that I script myself. I've never made the mistake again of using free samples, but regardless, that's my fault and I apologize. But the fact that she's using this as the basis of her argument to say that since I plagiarized the maths video the first time and she caught me once and I did it again, this is false. And she fails to include this important detail in her video, outlining what actually happened with that maths video. She then goes on to say that views don't matter to her, that I've basically just been always following her and copying her in terms of topics and trends, and that I used her friendship to do whatever it takes to overtake her, which is quoted directly from her, and she also implies that I had these intentions from the start. And the reason that I replied in the sequence of text messages between me and her about that, me saying it's a kind of ironic you're saying this because my video is only going to get this amount of views anyway, and you're always trying to get my views when my videos do well. The reason I ended up saying that was because I thought it was really ironic that when my video recently did well, titled How to Study So Fast That It Feels Illegal, there were many copies, people just making I haven't watched the video so I can't say they're copies, but people using the same thumbnail and title. You've probably also seen it, and I was the original creator of that video. But what she did was she went back into her older videos, changed the titles to Study So Fast It Feels Illegal to make it seem like she was the original user of the title. For reasons which I can only assume to ride the viewership wave, because why else would you feel the need to go back and change the title if you don't care about views? And you can say this is speculative and there isn't a big impact if it's an older video, but it contradicts her so-called philosophy of not caring about the views. As I was scripting this video, she changed the title to remove any links to copying my thumbnails and titles. And ironically, as I said, she changed it back. And she didn't even include it as part of her old title section, which she puts under every single video. So it seems like she really doesn't know that she had used my titles also previously. Not to mention the thumbnails that, as you can see, are copied from me. And she, in her video as well, and I agree with this with her, she says that she doesn't care about copying thumbnails and titles as much. And she basically says that I copied the video contents, which was the main reason for her making this video. But as I proved, the contents and the main points of the video was also my own. But the reason I'm bringing the titles thumbnails up, on one hand, she stated this in a message from me a while back, that she's been trying to make thumbnails, but she thinks that her best bet is to just copy someone else's. But then she also posted on her Instagram story, which she put in her video, and emphasizes that she was unhappy with that I'd stolen her whole video, including the thumbnail, title, and everything. And then the next, probably more important point that she makes is that she goes to attack my morals and character. She accuses me of abusing my friendship, and she spins this narrative that she gave me a second and even 3, she says in her video, that she gave me 1, 2, 3 chances.
I gave him 1, 2, 3 chances.
And that I ended up betraying her. But as I already talked about, the first instance about the maths video wasn't the way in which she described it. And the next part that she says is that she trusted me, we were friends, but then I invaded her privacy, used our friendship, and I had always tried to compete with her and do whatever it takes to get ahead. These are all quotes from her video. Starting with the first point, saying that I used her and manipulated her into doing a call in which she didn't know that it was for my paid program. This is just a blatant lie, and I can prove it. From this screenshot, you can see that I told her that it would be a lecture inside of my superior students community. And so I told her what it was for, and I attached a video example. What's more, as you can see in the next screenshot, in which she didn't include in her video, I told her that it would be it is going to be in the classroom section in my paid school community that I'm launching soon. And her response to that was, I quote, "Ooh, nice." When she says that I tricked her and I used her as a marketing tool, this is all untrue, as she knew what it was all for. She then also attacks me and implies heavily within the chapters of the video that I'm not just a kid, emphasizing that although I'm 16, because I'm selling a $400 course, that makes me kind of bad. But you would know better than anyone else that this is not a course, rather a program, since you were also asking me how it was going because you told me you had intentions of starting your own. She also, for some reason, brings up the point about me having in my program a college and internship guide, and says that since I'm in high school, why am I even making guides about colleges, etc., heavily implying that my program is unreliable. But yes, that is exactly why I got a real UBC college student as a guest to come and make this program, and as well as countless other reviews to show that my program actually genuinely works and has value. Because if her whole philosophy and moral and her video was around not cheating, why would she also delve into my business side of things about my program and also challenge my authority around that? And the next alarming and quite significant point that she makes against me is that I invaded her privacy and I used her face in the parents' video on the Student Accelerator website, and I refused to take it down. But I have screenshots of text, as you can see, that after the day that she told me to remove it, I sent a request to my team, and I followed up 3 separate times. 3. And note that she didn't tell me that she didn't want her face used. She told me this after the fact. And so this was the first and the most fast response that I could do. And I'd owe that to her because it is her right and it's more than reasonable for her to want me to remove. I removed and even followed up on everything she wanted. I did not manipulate, abuse, or invade her privacy. And note that I told you the purpose and you agreed. You bring up the fact also in your video that I put your face again, even after telling me once, at the end of my attention span video to promote the Student Accelerator. And that responsibility does fall on me, on my editor, and I apologize for that. I should have made this fact clear to him, and this is what my editor had to say about that. I provided him with the general folder in the classroom of the Student Accelerator where all guest recordings are, which notes, remember, as you can see from the Discord messages, this is something that she was aware of. And then using some of the clips from that, as it makes sense for him to do, because that's a way for us to show what actually is part of the guest calls. My editor put that in, and from a fault by myself, I failed to remove that and remember that she did not want her video used. And for that is my bad, and I sincerely apologize for that. But you saying that you didn't even know that it was going to be paid, and I used you as a tool to market without permission, might I add, and I invaded your privacy, I think is clearly shown to be false here. And so to conclude and give my final thoughts. If Amy was really just wanting to provide thoughtful criticism, as she puts it in her video, and just make a video based on cheating in general, the video that she made went way too far. She made baseless claims that weren't true, even told some blatant lies, and from the whole way her video was constructed, branding me as a cheater, telling stories in a way that makes it seem like I've done this before, and so I'm likely to do it again. These are all things that could cause irreparable damage to me as a character and a person. This isn't just a part of her philosophies and her morals. What she did is she used her audience and influence to cause irreparable damage, because this isn't just a case of pointing fingers. She made an entire video on it, a well planned out video, to her influence of 500,000 people. The video that she posted will probably reach a couple of 100,000 views, and that's a couple of 100,000 people that now have the wrong impression of me. You accuse me of plagiarizing and cheating, which me as a student that's still in school and is 16, can have very severe consequences to my career and future, as Amy would know better than anyone else. And given that she is the larger creator, she's been on the space longer than I have, as she mentions, these are all things that she as the creator should have thought about. From the start, I told you that I had not copied your videos. I even told you that these videos were based upon the videos that I had previously posted, and now I've proved this in this video. Those videos were posted years ago. I did not use your video as a template to copy nor plagiarize. And I'm not saying I don't hold no responsibility in this entire situation. For the things that I do hold responsibility in, I have apologized. But this video is necessary to clean up the entire story and reveal things, the truth about things that she admitted and painted the wrong picture. And to the person that's watching right now, I hope I've been able to clear up the things, and I've outlined and put forward my case, giving clear examples, and you can find all the resources as well as more detail in the description below. I highly recommend you check that out. And I've also tried to highlight the saturated nature of the entire study YouTuber content anyway. It's inevitable you're going to find overlap when me and Amy make the same videos for the same audience around the same topic. My philosophy has always been it's for students by a student, and that will always be the case. I never imagined to be a part of internet drama. This is going to be the only response that I make within this whole situation, because I think that what I've laid out is more than enough for you guys to make an informed decision by yourselves. My intention is just to show the truth. But on a lighter note, go be productive. Don't waste your time leaving comments and getting caught up in all this internet drama. You could use this time to go study instead. All of this, don't leave any hate either. This was all just to provide thoughtful criticism for Amy and her viewers. But as always, I'll see you in the next one.